In the far reaches of northern Idaho, tucked away in the heart of the rugged and breathtaking Silver Valley, lies a place that feels almost untouched by time. Here, the landscape is dominated by endless pine forests and towering mountains, their peaks often dusted with snow even in late spring. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of evergreens, and the silence is broken only by the distant call of a hawk or the gentle rush of a mountain stream. This is Wallace, a small city that sits quietly in a valley, surrounded on all sides by nature's grandeur. It's the kind of place you might miss if you blink while driving by, but for those who call it home, Wallace is a world unto itself. With a population of just under 1,000, Wallace is a close-knit community where everyone knows each other's names, and where the echoes of its storied mining past still shape daily life. The town's roots run deep into the earth, forged during the silver mining boom that once made this region famous across the country. Its downtown is a living museum, with every brick building lovingly preserved and listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Walking these streets feels like stepping back in time, with ornate facades and old-fashioned lampposts telling stories of a bygone era. Life in Wallace moves at a gentle pace. Mornings begin with the sun rising over the mountains, neighbors greet each other with a wave or a friendly chat over the fence, and children ride their bikes down quiet streets. There's a sense of trust here, a feeling that everyone looks out for one another. The biggest events on the calendar are the annual Huckleberry Festival, the high school football games that bring the whole town together, and the parades that wind their way down Main Street, filling the air with laughter and music. News travels fast, but it's usually about a neighbor's new baby or a bake sale at the church. In a place like this, the idea of violent crime seems almost unimaginable. The streets are so quiet at night that you can hear the wind rustling through the trees, and most people don't bother to lock their doors. But on the evening of December 26, 2025, everything changed. The peace that had defined Wallace for generations was shattered in an instant, as flashing lights and sirens cut through the darkness, drawing neighbors from their homes in disbelief. The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office, long seen as a symbol of safety and order in this quiet town, suddenly became the epicenter of a crisis that no one could have anticipated. Law enforcement vehicles crowded the streets, and the community was left reeling, searching for answers. For the people of Wallace, the events of that night would leave a lasting mark, forever altering their sense of security and what it means to feel truly safe at home. The story of that day is one that this small town will never forget. December 26th began like any other post-holiday Friday in Wallace. At 2:30 p.m., a man armed with multiple firearms entered the sheriff's office and opened fire. The lobby, once a place of public trust, became a scene of chaos and fear. The gunman's motive was unclear, but his intent was obvious. He was there to inflict harm. Gunshots echoed through downtown, shattering the afternoon calm and alerting the entire community. The violence quickly spilled outside, endangering anyone nearby. In moments, a quiet block was transformed into a critical incident zone. Law enforcement had to act fast to contain the threat and protect lives. In the aftermath of the attack, chaos and confusion filled the air. 3 people were wounded, 1 law enforcement officer and 2 civilians. The scene was tense, with sirens blaring and emergency lights flashing as first responders rushed to help those in need. The quick actions of paramedics and police officers made a crucial difference in those first few moments. The officer, struck in the ear by a bullet, was fortunate to escape with a non-life-threatening injury. Despite the pain and shock, he remained alert, communicating with his team and ensuring the safety of others at the scene. His colleagues quickly provided first aid, applying pressure to the wound and keeping him calm until paramedics arrived. The 2 civilians, both women who had been sitting in a car outside the scene, were each shot in the leg. Their injuries, though not life-threatening, were serious enough to require immediate medical attention. Paramedics worked swiftly, stabilizing their wounds and reassuring them as they prepared for transport to the hospital. For these victims, the physical pain was matched by the emotional shock. The sudden eruption of violence shattered their sense of safety, leaving them shaken and uncertain. Blood-stained clothing and the somber faces of those affected served as a stark reminder of how quickly violence can touch innocent lives, changing everything in a matter of seconds. Emergency medical teams responded with remarkable speed and professionalism. They provided critical care at the scene, working under pressure to stabilize the wounded and prevent further harm. Stretchers were quickly brought in, and the injured were carefully loaded into ambulances for transport to nearby hospitals. Every second counted, and the coordinated efforts of first responders saved lives that day. As news spread that no lives had been lost, a wave of relief swept through the community. Family members and friends gathered outside the police tape, embracing and comforting one another. Yet, beneath the relief, the trauma of the event lingered. The community would need time to heal from the shock and fear that had gripped them. Behind every headline and news report are real people, victims, families, and first responders, whose lives are forever changed in an instant. The emotional toll is often invisible, but it is just as real as the physical wounds. Support from loved ones and the community becomes essential in the days and weeks that follow. The scars left behind, both physical and emotional, would linger long after the sirens faded and the streets emptied. Healing would take time, but the resilience of those affected and the support of the community would help them move forward, one day at a time. The standoff ended when officers shot and killed the gunman, ending the immediate threat. By 4:15 p.m., the danger was over, but the search for answers had just begun. As of December 27th, the gunman's identity and motive remain unknown. He was heavily armed, clearly prepared to cause harm, but his reasons are a mystery. Investigators are now piecing together his background, hoping to understand what led to this tragedy. The community is left with questions that may never be fully answered. Understanding the why won't undo the harm, but it may help prevent future violence. The first shots shattered the early morning calm, instantly triggering a massive multi-state law enforcement response that would soon become one of the largest in the region's history. Within minutes, radios crackled to life across county and state lines as dispatchers relayed urgent calls for backup. The gravity of the situation was clear. This was no ordinary emergency, and it demanded an extraordinary response. With the local department quickly overwhelmed by the scale and intensity of the unfolding crisis, law enforcement agencies from Idaho, Montana, and Washington mobilized without hesitation. Patrol cars, SUVs, and tactical vehicles from dozens of jurisdictions sped toward Wallace, their lights flashing in a show of urgency and solidarity. Officers, detectives, and command staff left their own communities behind, answering the call to protect a town in need. Police cars and tactical teams from across the region converged on Wallace, transforming the quiet streets into a hub of coordinated activity. The sudden influx of law enforcement was both jarring and reassuring for residents, who watched as their town became the center of a multi-state operation. Tactical teams in full gear moved with precision, their presence a visible sign that help had truly arrived. Mutual aid agreements, painstakingly established over years of planning and cooperation, made this rapid response possible. These agreements allowed officers from different agencies to work seamlessly together, sharing resources, intelligence, and expertise. The strength of interagency cooperation was on full display, as leaders from multiple departments gathered for briefings and coordinated their next moves. The influx of officers allowed for the swift establishment of a secure perimeter around the affected area. SWAT teams and patrol officers worked side by side, blocking off streets, setting up command posts, and ensuring that no one entered or left the scene without authorization. This coordinated tactical response was essential for both public safety and the success of the operation. For the people of Wallace, the sight of so many officers, some familiar, others from distant towns, was a powerful reminder that they were not alone in their darkest hour. Neighbors gathered at windows and on porches, watching the unfolding response with a mix of anxiety and gratitude. The heavy police presence brought a sense of security, even as uncertainty lingered in the air. The swift, united action of these agencies was crucial in containing the threat and ultimately ending the crisis. Officers communicated constantly, adapting to rapidly changing circumstances and supporting each other through every tense moment. Their professionalism and courage under pressure made all the difference. It was a textbook example of law enforcement solidarity in the face of danger, a moment when badges from different states meant little compared to the shared mission of protecting lives. The bonds forged in those critical hours would last long after the crisis had passed. The region's law enforcement community stood shoulder to shoulder, united by duty and compassion, to protect one of their own and the people of Wallace. Their collective response was a testament to the power of cooperation, and a reminder that in times of crisis, true strength is found in unity. In the chaos, rumors spread quickly. Some claimed the gunman had breached the jail, raising fears of a hostage crisis. Social media and news alerts fueled anxiety, but facts were slow to emerge. Law enforcement worked to secure the building and soon confirmed the incident was contained to public areas. The jail was never compromised. This clarification helped calm the community and refocus attention on the real threat. The experience was a reminder: in breaking news, patience is essential. Early reports can be misleading. Waiting for official confirmation is critical. In Wallace, separating fact from rumor helped restore a sense of control. For Wallace, the shooting was deeply personal. Residents were shocked. This was the kind of tragedy that happened elsewhere, not here. Social media lit up with concern and support as people checked on friends and neighbors. The injured officer wasn't just a name. He was a familiar face in the community. As the crisis ended, sadness mixed with gratitude for the swift law enforcement response. The sight of officers from 3 states brought comfort and a sense of unity. In the days ahead, Wallace would gather to heal, honor the victims, and reclaim its peace. The town's resilience and solidarity would become its greatest strength. When violence erupted, law enforcement ran toward danger without hesitation. Their immediate, coordinated response was critical in preventing greater tragedy. Backup arrived quickly, thanks to strong mutual aid agreements. Officers established a perimeter, evacuated civilians, and confronted the gunman head-on. Their bravery and training made the difference, ending the threat before more lives were lost. The injured officer's sacrifice underscored the risks police face every day. Wallace's protectors proved their dedication in the town's darkest hour. Their actions saved lives and restored order, earning the community's lasting gratitude. In the aftermath, Wallace faced a choice: succumb to fear or come together to heal. Staying calm and relying on verified information helped prevent panic and division. Community solidarity became a source of strength as neighbors supported one another and honored first responders. Simple acts of kindness and shared conversations began the healing process. The tragedy was a reminder to always be prepared, but also to cherish the bonds that define small-town life. Supporting law enforcement and each other is essential for recovery. Wallace's response, courage, compassion, unity, will define its legacy, not the violence. Together, the town will heal, stronger and more united than before.